is it that because of how streaming works on the PlayStation, now I have to go through 3 whole episodes worth of footage just to do one damn episode? I could have finished this in one damn episode, but no, it has to be 3. Nayuta's confession. I could not remain silent while Her Eminence fell under suspicion for this crime. It was I who murdered Justice Minister Inga. He had to die for the future of Kurai. I consider it divine judgment cast upon a fiend who sought to assassinate our monarch. My mother was simply covering for me. I am ashamed I let her go so far for my sake. You do understand what you're doing, right, Nayuta? You're sentencing yourself to death if you're found guilty. If that is the court's verdict, then so be it. I must obey the law above all else. The law, Nayuta, or the Queen?
Objection!
Enough. This blather has nothing to do with the witness's testimony. Please address any issues you may have during the cross-examination defense. Oh, I will. I'm going to blow his problematic testimony to smithereens. Nayuta's confession. I cannot remain silent while Her Eminence fell under suspicion for this crime. It was I who murdered Justice Minister Inga. He had to die for the future of Kurai. I consider it divine judgment cast upon a fiend who sought to assassinate our monarch. My mother was simply covering for me. I am ashamed I let her go so far for my sake.
Hold it!
So you killed Minister Inga, and Queen Amara staged the crime? Is that how it went? Precisely. My mother is as clever as she is kind. She sought to conceal my crime by taking all of the guilt upon herself. Yet another lie. I need to poke a hole in his testimony, but how? Nayuta, could it be you? Didn't know Naina's real identity? You didn't realize that Naina was actually Queen Amara, your own mother. That is not as strange as you might think. Much time had passed since we last met, after all. Right. 23 years ago, was it? When Dirk saved her after the supposed assassination attempt? No, Mr. Justice. It was 15 years ago that Dirk abducted my mother. Huh? That's weird. Are you sure about that? I remember it clearly. I was around 10 years old at the time. Nayuta, please add that last statement to your testimony. I was reunited with my mother, Queen Amara, 15 years ago when Dirk abducted her.
Hold it!
Oh, shit! 15 years ago, huh? That's around the time I left for the US. What happened after Dirk helped Queen Amara escape? Agents of the Crown pursued us relentlessly, so we had to live a life on the run. Mr. Justice, know that Dirk sent you away so that you would not be caught up in that life we led. I see. Thanks. I can't believe it's been 15 years. Apollo, there's something about Nayuta's testimony. Yeah, the discrepancy is a bit hard to miss, but what could it mean? So Nayuta got to meet his mother, back when Dirk rescued her. That's what he's saying. It's news to me, though. I had already been sent away by that point. Okay, now that I've dragged more testimony out of him, what can I do with it?
Objection!
You're saying that Dirk made off with Queen Amara 15 years ago. But that's strange, because I heard something very different from Dirk. He said that they ran off together 23 years ago. That is impossible. I know for a fact it was 15 years ago. Well, I have evidence that contradicts your statement. How do you explain this photo? Dirk said it was taken 23 years ago. He said that? He did, but if we take what you just said as fact, then there's something in this photo that doesn't make any sense. This isn't making any sense to me, so I suppose I should ask. What does not make any sense if the photo is only 15 years old? The baby.
Take that!
Nayuta, this discrepancy may not be directly related to this case, but I don't think we can simply overlook it either. Dirk said the baby in the photo was you, but that doesn't make any sense if the photo is only 15 years old. After all, you said you were around 10 then, right? He's definitely sweating bullets over there, over something. Apollo, if this baby isn't Nayuta... Wait, you don't think... Did Queen Amara have another child while she was on the run? What?! And just what if that child were being held hostage? Nayuta, is that why you obey Queen Garan's every command? You presume too much. Ah, and that's why Queen Amara was trying to take the rap as well, to protect his other child. A child born 15 years ago. They would have to be someone who's around 14 or 15 years old now. This is just a guess. But I believe I know someone who fits the bill. This also explains the strange behavior. This is the child who was born to Dirk and Queen Amara 15 years ago. Rafa! All those strange statements she kept making. Now they all make sense. Prosecutor Satomari, may I ask you something? Of course, Your Benevolence. I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara? And about me? From where did you hear such a thing? From Mother, and only yesterday. Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people, so I told her what the truth really was, for it is up to a mother to discipline her child. Told her that she's not her mother and that she's a prisoner. I see. I cannot accept this! Is something the matter, Your Benevolence? Queen Amara is lying. It makes no sense. Queen Amara would not have killed my father. Why? Why did this happen? Just as we were finally reunited. Oh, Queen Amara. Now I see, Nayuta, why you do what you're told. The other child born to Dirk and Queen Amara was... Mr. Justice, I believe I know what you are about to say, but I cannot allow you to name an innocent soul as the child of terrible sinners. I thought you might try to stop me. After all, simply revealing this information endangers who you've been trying to protect. I think this should make it clear what I'm talking about. This is the chink in your armor, the reason why you fear for your sibling's reputation.
Take that!
And that is a file full of information that Dirk collected on what happened 23 years ago. A particular note right now is what's written here. The sins of the father are visited upon his children. This deeply held idea is why you were expelled from a royal family. Which means it wouldn't bode well for your sibling either, if she were revealed to be Dirk's daughter. You became a prosecutor to bring down Queen Garan, but at some point you came to serve the very regime you despised, and that was because the Queen found this chink in your armor. That's how she came to use your sister against you. Nayuta, have you been keeping the secret all this time? Have you been trying to protect me? You are an innocent party to all this. They live only to safeguard the law and serve the country and queen from which it flows. One such as you, who is destined to ascend to the throne, need not fret over one such as I. No, I cannot accept that. What you say is, it's malarkey. Don't you even care what happens to you? Before country, queen, law, and everyone's future, my personal feelings are of no consequence. That is why I resigned myself to my fate. I know I must accept the status quo without any thoughts of change. Spoken like a true prosecutor and patriot, I shall continue to rule Kurain until the day Rafa succeeds me, for that is what is best for our kingdom. I know, Your Eminence. Yours is no small sacrifice, but I promise you this, in exchange for your life, the child shall remain safe, in the kingdom shall prosper. That is all I can ask for with my meager existence. Nayuta, is this really the new you? Resigning yourself to the will of another and killing any hope you held for the future? No! The Nayuta I knew would never let himself be turned into this. Now, Your Majesty, if you would hand down your verdict.
Objection!
You could say you're simply accepting your fate, Nayuta, but I know that deep down there is still hope in your heart. Oh, Holy Mother, preserve me. It's the kind of hope that perseveres through the most desperate of times, and it's what binds you, me, and Dirk together as a family. I know because this has demonstrated to me that you haven't lost all hope yet.
Take that!
When you interrogated Dirk, you confiscated all of his possessions as potential evidence, all except this. Did he take your attorney's badge too? No. I thought it strange, but just when it looked like he was going to take it from me, he changed his mind. So tell me, Nayuta, why didn't you take his badge? You couldn't bear to take it from him, could you? And I know why. It's because this badge means something special to us. Hey, Dirk, why do you still wear your badge? You're not a lawyer anymore, right? This badge is my heart and soul, son. I'll never stop trying to realize my dream. Not until my very last breath. A dragon never yields, right? Exactly. Nayuta, Apollo, I vow to restore Kurain's legal system to its rightful state one day. I want to pass on to you a world where you can live free from the fear of tyranny. You may say you've given up, but that's not how it really is it? You never gave up, and you never will because you still believe that all of the wrongs will be righted someday, don't you? You are very perceptive, Mr. Justice. It may very well be as you say. Why did I not confiscate this badge? Even I did not know. Until now. Perhaps I was waiting for him to save me. Save you? Yes, save me. Like he did on that day. Nayuta! Apollo! Hold on! I'm coming! What father wouldn't risk his life to save his own children? Nayuta, Apollo, don't you ever hesitate to call when you need me. Understand? Someday, he would come and free our family from the chains of the past. Perhaps deep down, that is what I believed. I believed in Dirk, our father. Nayuta, I knew you. However, it was but a dream. And now that dream has died. Murdered along with Dirk! So now as the eldest, the responsibility falls squarely onto me. No matter the cost, I must protect her! Please try to understand, Apollo. Understand why I shall bear all this sin. It is the only way! But—
Such insolence!
You have wasted more than enough of my time, lawyer. Do you not see the futility of your desperate floundering? The immutability of his duty? It is time to accept defeat. Ah! Now watch as the hammer of justice comes down upon your dear brother. Your majesty, the verdict, if you will. Yes, Your Eminence! But wait a second! What do I do? Does the defense wish to raise an objection? There's got to be some way to save Nayuta. Apollo, it all goes back to that incident 23 years ago. It's branded him the son of a criminal. So if we could once and for all prove that Dirk didn't try to assassinate Amara, right, Nayuta and Reifa's father would no longer be viewed as a criminal. But I thought there wasn't any evidence left, because it was all destroyed in the fire, and Dirk investigated the matter for years, and never managed to learn anything new. Really? Nothing at all? Did an exceptional lawyer like Dirk try that long and really uncover nothing at all? He had over 2 decades, Apollo. Huh? He's right. I doubt Dirk would have gone to his grave without discovering something new. He must have secretly planted something to topple Garan with somewhere. Take another look at the evidence. You just might find what we need to break out of the situation with him there. Got it! If the defense is done stalling for time, I shall now render my verdict. No, wait! About the assassination attempt 23 years ago. The defense has some new information it would like to share. You do? While we had intended to deliberate that case in the course of this trial. Dirk, did you leave something behind for me? Is there some connection I'm missing here? Very well then. What is the source of your new information about the case from 23 years ago?
Take that!
A photograph? Yes. Do you recall the traveling musician who died in that fire 23 years ago? How could anyone forget such a painful chapter in our history? The poor fellow was caught up in the blaze that was meant for Queen Amara. We never knew his identity, though, as his belongings were burnt to ashes. Well, about that, the truth is, he was my biological father. Oh? What? Why, of course! With his photo and her benevolence! Exactly. We might be able to prove Dirk completely innocent, and that would free her from the infamy of having criminal blood in her veins. Because here in Kurai, we can witness the final memories of the dead! What utter nonsense! There was no evidence left in the wake of that blaze! That's what you think. But Dirk went to the ends of the earth to bring this little souvenir back for us. He did? Yep, and boy is it the best piece of evidence ever. He knew that with it, we'd finally be able to conclusively settle the matter here in court and save his children. Your Majesty, the defense requests that we hold a divination seance for this new victim. What a waste of time! The events of 23 years past have already been deliberated at length.
Objection!
But wasn't Dirk on trial for that incident as well today? So we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we failed to look into this new lead, would we? Ah! As the presiding judge, I will now share my thoughts on the matter. The attempted assassination of Queen Amara is a case we can ill afford to leave open, and I believe that the final memories of the victim will prove to be very important. Therefore, it is the opinion of this court that we should conduct another divination seance. Why you? Your benevolence. If you knew the full name of the victim seen in this photo, you'd be able to perform a divination seance, right? Of course. Leave it to me. Thank you. My father's full name is... Jove Justice. All right. Now, your benevolence, please commence the divination seance when you are ready.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Oh, Jesus. spirit of the victim has granted us a window into his final moments. It appeared the divination seance was a success. So those were my father's final moments. That baby we saw must have been you, Apollo. I will now decipher the experience of the deceased. Are you ready, Hornhead? Yes, please proceed. Very well. Here are my interpretations of the facts as gleaned from the seance vision. Rafa's insight. Someone attempted to assassinate Queen Amara by setting her residence ablaze. Hornhead's father happened to stop by and was knocked out by the assassin. Dirk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter found at the scene of the crime. That is how he was determined to beat the assassin. Hornhead's father tried to save his son, but sadly he perished in the attempt. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. My father's final memories. They're right here for everyone to see, but can any of them unlock the truth behind what happened 23 years ago?
Objection!
Dirk's fingerprints were discovered on the lighter that was found at the crime scene. However, the person that was wearing the hand holding the lighter in the seance vision appears to be gloved. Ah! I believe you are right! What could this mean? It calls into question whether the hand in the vision really was Dirk's. If only we can make out the details a little better. Very well, I will attempt to focus a bit more on what the deceased saw. Perhaps that will help revive the seance vision. It does seem that there was a glove on that hand. Aren't those the cuffs that the Justice Minister wears? Still, what significance could that have? It means that Dirk's fingerprints got on the lighter at some other time. Somebody could have even put them there after the fire. All you have is pure speculation, while the fact remains that they are his fingerprints. Therefore, it stands to reason that Dirk was the one who used the lighter.
Objection!
It just means I have to prove that the figure in the vision is someone else, using the information in my father's final memories. Either way, it seems that I must revise my insights. But if someone had put his prints on the lighter after the fact, then we know not to whom it belongs. Okay, she updated her insights. Time to go over them and see if there are any new inconsistencies to be found. Wristband!
Objection!
Wait, then this means that the real culprit is... The figure in this vision is clearly not Dirk. The distinctive band around their wrist gives their true identity away. Ah! That design! It can't be! This will prove just whose hand was captured in the seance vision.
Take that!
That photo! So you do believe the culprit to be... Justice Minister Inga had cuffs with the exact same pattern on them. You're referring to the cuffs of justice, correct? Yes, I hear they're a traditional part of a Kurainese Justice Minister's attire. But what does this tell us? It tells us that the figure in the vision is none other than Kurain's late Minister of Justice, Inga Karku Kurain. No, not my father! So he plotted the assassination of the former queen as well as the current one? Justice Minister Inga? So then Dirk's innocent of both charges? The Defiant Dragons, they've been right all along! Impossible. Nayuta? What you've proposed is not possible, Apollo. For back then, Inga Karku Kurain was not the Minister of Justice. What? The Justice Minister 23 years ago was... You! Queen Garan! What?! Oh, right. She served as the Minister of Justice before succeeding the throne. I guess she also prosecuted the assassination attempt 23 years ago as one. So then, the figure in this vision is actually... Your Eminence! It's you, isn't it? This is madness! Why would Her Eminence do such a thing? Because she would ascend to the throne. She wanted to usurp the throne from her sister Amara? That's why she tried to assassinate her? I find this all very hard to swallow. Your Eminence, are you the one responsible for tearing my family apart? It wasn't you who killed my father. Well, Your Eminence, I'm asking you a question!
Silence!
Peasants, always carrying on about things of no import. You do not deny it, then? You conceal the truth and use me for your own designs? Oh, Nayuta, spare me your feeble-minded line of questioning. Even if Dirk were cleared of all charges, it shall still be I who decides Rafa's fate. You do wish for her to be queen someday, do you not? Remember, the child lives only by my good graces. Now kneel before me and fulfill your end of the bargain by offering me your head. Your Eminence, I am done heeding your commands. Even as you used my sister against me, I still believed you. I believed that protecting your secrets was in the best interest of this kingdom. But you have been deceiving me all the while! Nayuta! Nayuta, you dare defy me? Your Eminence, I could turn the other cheek no more. Therefore, I hereby retract my confession in the murder of Justice Minister Inga. Retract, you say? Dirk, the final piece of evidence he left behind, has released Nayuta from his suffering. And now he's finally free! In all this time, not once did I reflect on my own conduct, for I had believed all was fate. Lost in my own sense of resignation, I was unable to wake from my despair. But you, Apollo, you have awakened me with your demonstration of our father's creed.
A dragon never yields.
I will carry on Dirk's legacy and fulfill his dream. Hear me, Garan. I will cast you down from your bloody throne. Long live the revolution! Insolent fool! Now even you prattle on about revolution? Would you look at that? Well, Apollo, it seems we're finally making some headway down the road that Dirk carved out for us. Yeah. Now, if we could just prove Garan's guilt, we could continue on down that road toward the revolution Dirk dreamed of. Your Eminence, you have been accused of the crime committed 23 years ago. Would you like to say anything in your defense? Not so fast, Your Majesty. Her cuffs could have been stolen and used without my knowledge, so you see, they can hardly be considered proof of anything. But what? I believe you're right. Ah, but we know she's guilty. Well, lawyer, is there any other evidence you would have me refute? Unfortunately, this photo was the last piece of evidence Dirk left for me, so as far as evidence goes, I've got nothing else regarding that case from the past. However, now that Prosecutor Sadmati has retracted his confession, we'll have to re-deliberate the current case from scratch. Yes, the defense speaks the truth. Even though it is clear who the guilty party is. Queen Garan! The defense accuses you of the murder of Justice Minister Inga Karkulkurain! But, do you have any evidence, defense? Evidence that will prove Garan was the killer? There's still one more avenue for us to explore, Mr. Justice. There is? Minister Inga's final memories. In them, the minister's killer posed as Dirk. Therefore, one must ask, how did the killer dispose of their disguise? Hey, you're right! A lot of blood would have spattered onto the killer, so the blood-soaked clothes would have to have been dealt with somehow. If they're still around somewhere, then... I was wondering what absurd idea you would concoct next. Clothing can be disposed of most anywhere. I doubt you could find them now. Then you don't know us very well. Your benevolence. Yes? On the day of your father's murder, you had been watching the courtyard from 2 p.m. Now, during that time, you saw Queen Garan, did you not? Yes, I did. I saw my mother entering the palace from the courtyard, but I was told not to mention it because it had nothing to do with my father's murder. Rafa! You would not dare! When the queen headed into the palace, did she have Dirk's clothes in her possession? No, she did not. So, maybe she disposed of them somewhere in the courtyard. Objection! The police did a thorough sweep of the area following the crime, but they did not find anything resembling Dirk's clothes. But you knew that already, didn't you, prosecutor? Yes, I admit no clothing was found. So you admit that you were merely speculating, chasing phantoms and delusions of evidence that never existed. This makes no sense. Clothing doesn't just disappear like that. If Garan wasn't carrying any clothes, she must have gotten rid of them somewhere. Somewhere where she thought they'd never be found. Where'd they never be found, huh? I believe Dirk's clothes were hidden here. In the tomb. She just put them back on Dirk. The tomb. You believe the clothing was hidden there? Yes, it's the only place it can be. Very well. Where in the tomb do you believe the clothes were hidden? Right back on Dirk's body. Of course! That makes perfect sense! The clothes weren't simply hidden. They were returned to where they belonged. Ah! And by that you mean... the killer would have had to get Dirk's clothes from somewhere. Luckily, they were right there. Yes, of course. At the time of the minister's murder, Dirk's body was already in the sarcophagus, so the killer could have simply borrowed his clothes. Right, before the minister entered the tomb, the killer put on Dirk's clothes and then hid behind the curtain above the sarcophagus. And after the minister was killed, Dirk's clothes were returned to his body. So what? This is still all speculation. We know not whether those clothes were actually used in the murder. Therefore, you cannot prove that they are somehow connected to this case. That's where you're wrong, but I believe you already knew that. These clothes were definitely used during the minister's murder because of this. The bloodstains on Dirk's chest are no doubt the result of being shot by the minister. However, that doesn't explain everything. There is also some blood spatter extending from his left elbow to his abdominal area. I believe this blood splatter came from...
Take that!
If the killer wore these clothes during the murder, then the blood spatter must have come from Minister Inga. I thought it was all Dirk's, but that makes sense. Only one way to be sure, though. Let's get those stains analyzed right away. Indeed, this may be the conclusive evidence we need to prove to Queen's guilt.
Objection!
You cannot prove it was I who hid those clothes. They could very well have been hidden by a third party. But could they really? I say the possibility of someone other than the Garant hiding clothes does not exist. No, it's just not possible. Your Eminence, I recall you saying the following. The key to Amara's sarcophagus is under the protection of the royal family. My husband and I are the only ones who could open it. Therefore, it would be impossible for some knave to open it. Huh! That was your own testimony, word for word. Why, you insolent! Admit it. Only you could have hidden Dirk's clothes after they were used in the murder. And that means you are the one who killed Justice Minister Inga. Insignificant worm! You dare accuse me, the ruler of Karain? Do not think for one moment that such impudence will be tolerated. I am afraid such arguments are invalid here in this sacred hall, Your Eminence, because even monarchs aren't above the law. It's the end of the line for you, Queen Garan. Time to come down from that lofty throne and face justice! Me? Face justice? Surely you jest. You are in no position to force my hand, lawyer. Oh? Surely you haven't forgotten about the Defense Culpability Act. Those who would support criminals will be deemed just as guilty. In short, should I be convicted of murdering my husband, your dear brother who delivered false testimony in my defense shall also be found guilty. What? That can't be! Can it? By delivering false testimony in the course of protecting a guilty party, he will certainly be judged by this court as having supported a criminal, and the Defense Culpability Act would most definitely come into play. But that law is so broad that anyone could be convicted under it. When it comes to the DC Act, even I am conflicted, and yet as it currently stands, it is the law of the land. And as you said earlier, no one is above the law. Of all the absurd things I've seen, this law really takes the cake. Now what? What can we even do at this point? You need not look so forlorn. Dirk has been cleared of all charges. But let us leave all thoughts of the real killer and revolution in the past where it belongs. She wants us to just let her off scot-free? And yet, I don't see any other choice. You cannot yield to her here, Apollo. If it will move the revolution forward, I will gladly face the DCI. Now do it! Accuse Queen Garan of the crime she has committed!
Such insolence!
What you speak of is not revolution. Our kingdom will not function without its sovereign. And Rafa cannot ascend to the throne, for she is as yet incapable of channeling spirits. Thus to accuse me is to wish destruction upon our fair kingdom, you terrorist. Terrorist? If you would still insist on accusing me, then as ruling sovereign of Karain, I proclaim the following. All who imperil the crown, no matter the reason, shall be subject to immediate execution under the Queen's orders. What? Immediate execution? You still not comprehend? Then let me be clear. For the sake of this kingdom's future, in accordance with the laws of Karain, I command that you be put to death at once. What the? Isn't this going a bit too far? Why is the Garan Royal Guard? They were on standby in case of an attack by foolishly optimistic terrorists. Now, if you would continue to oppose me, the very embodiment of the law, then under my regal authority, you shall all be put to death!
Objection!
Oh, come on! This is insane, even for you! You can't possibly get away with something like this. This is the court of law! You can't just order our execution without due process!
Hold it!
Now look, Apollo, truth and due process are certainly important, but so is your life, so think before you speak again. But... But please, Apollo, do not make this any worse than it already is! I cannot lose you to the Twilight Realm, too! What am I supposed to do? How do I win against an opponent that can rewrite the law as she sees fit? How can I ever bring her to justice? Is this really how it all ends? It is your life or your accusation, lawyer. You cannot hope for both. It is time to cease this insanity. What do I do? Should I accuse Queen Garan? I know what I have to do. Mr. Wright, you know that saying you're constantly reminding me and Athena of? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. You never fail to surprise me, Apollo. And Nayuta, you know that creed we've known ever since we were kids? A dragon never yields? Apollo, they are not merely words. They are what's carried us this far. So now, it's time to honor these words and the memories of the ones who gave them to us. I couldn't agree with you more, Apollo. Those words are more important to me than you know. And if there's any time to remember them, it's now. It would seem, Apollo, that not one but two auspicious creatures dwell deep within you. A fierce dragon and a virtuous phoenix that shall scatter the clouds hiding the heavens. I shall join you in your death-defying bluff. I think I finally understand what those words really mean, and the resolve they embody. Are you smiling? Even in the face of certain doom? Is there no end to your defiance? Unfortunately for you, no. I won't let fear, or even the law, force me to abandon the pursuit of truth, because there is another saying in my country, the truth will set you free. Indeed, that is precisely what Dirk sought to do through this trial. He wished for us to break free from a certain despicable spiders and mobilizing silk threads. We won't be intimidated by unjust laws or give in to fear. Abandoning the truth like that is just not a part of my playbook. There is only one path before us. Revolution. The time to make Dirk's dream a reality is upon us. Your Eminence, if you are the law here in Khura'in, then your very existence is wrong. Is your desperate bleeding know no end? I know it's a bit late to ask, but what's the plan? Well, if Garan is going to execute us on the spot under the Defense Culpability Act, and the law itself derives its power from the authority of the Crown, then there's only one thing to do. We dethrone her. Right here, right now. Alright, but how? It's not like we have a lot of time to come up with a way to do it either. I doubt she'll allow you to perform another cross-examination while we think. Don't worry, I'll come up with something. We'll be fine! We can't give up. Not now. We have to keep on fighting to the end. We can't allow these broken trials to go on. It's time to make things right. If I accuse Garan, Nayuta will be subject to the Defense Culpability Act, which means he will be put to death in accordance with the law. So the only way out of this is to dethrone Garan right now. Could this be the key to dethroning Garan? Is the Founder's Orb the key to revolution? Dirk was convinced that the orb is the key to revolution and Khura'in's future. In light of Garan's obsession with the orb, it makes a large amount of sense. She probably doesn't want anyone using it to gain spiritual powers and rights to the throne. Inga definitely tried to do just that, but that's where it starts to fall apart. Inga couldn't have channeled the founder even after abducting Miss Faye. After all, he didn't know the founder's name. Inga didn't know the founder's name. The name of the founder is only known to those who become queen. That means the only people who currently know her name are Garan and Amara. So even if someone else had the orb, they wouldn't be able to channel the founder. So that begs the question, why is Garan so fixated on the orb? Okay, let's not overthink this. Garan is obsessed with the orb because she can't channel spirits! Garan wants spiritual power. Could it be? It's hard to believe, but if she wants spiritual power, does that mean Garan can't channel spirits? That would explain why she had Amara perform the rite of channeling. Is that why she let Amara live? To stand in for her when the time came to channel spirits? So, if Garan can't channel spirits, she'd have no claim to the throne! Garan has no claim to the throne. Garan's Defense Culpability Act was established under the Crown's authority, but if she has no claim to the throne, then the DC Act would become null and void. No, not just the DC Act, all of the insane laws she's enacted would be swept away in one fell swoop! You claim the authority of the Crown? You, of all people? That's a good one. Have you truly lost it, lawyer? Indeed, I would have the defense explain himself at once. It's easy, your majesty. Why is Queen Garan so obsessed with the Founder's Orb? Why did she let Queen Amara live? And why was she having her mercifulness perform the rite of channeling in her place? The answer to these three questions point to a single conclusion. A fact that will shake this kingdom to its very core! I still do not follow, Apollo. Your Eminence, I have just one question for you, and please be honest. You can't actually channel spirits, can you? What? You believe the Queen is not capable of communing with the dead? The defense will explain itself at once. In Qurain, the ability to channel spirits is an absolute requirement for a would-be queen. But your Eminence, if you were incapable of doing that, then you'd have no claim to the throne. Not only that, but every law you've passed will be rendered null and void. And you, the Garan Royal Guard, you seem to be rather enamored with the Queen's supposed spiritual power. What if she had none? What if she were just an ordinary person, a pretender to the throne? That's crazy talk! Impossible! Everyone knows only spirit mediums can become queen! Such blasphemy! On what grounds do you make such a defamatory claim? Queen Garan, if you think I'm just out to defame you, then prove it. Prove it using this piece of evidence you want so badly!
Take that!
All the conditions for summoning the Founder should be in place. With the orb, we know what the Founder looks like. And as Queen, you should know the Founder's name. Now, if you would, Your Eminence, please show us the great spiritual power you bear as Grand Priestess of Qurain! Oh, to witness Her Eminence's great power with our own eyes? That the Holy Mother will appear before us? Oh, great miracle of miracles! Praise be, Your Eminence! May your mighty spiritual power show us the way! Enough! Enough, I say, you mindless cretins! Your Eminence, can it be that you cannot? No! No! I want a lawyer! Someone one at once! Aren't you forgetting something? There aren't any lawyers left in Qurain. You can thank your Defense Culpability Act for that. Ah! Your Eminence, please give us a glimpse of your magnificent spiritual power! Summon Her Holiness so she may guide us! I have had enough from you! Out of my sight, all of you! If you truly are capable of channeling spirits, then get on with it already, Your Eminence! You sneaky, underhanded wretch of a lawyer! That reminds me, you said something to this effect earlier. It is time to cease this insanity? Don't you feel stupid for saying that now? Indeed, of all the things she has said, I can think of nothing more ludicrous. Apollo. Teach this deceitful putrid queen a lesson she won't soon forget. Gladly, because it really is time to cease this insanity. Garon! Your reign of terror ends here! Very well. Demonstrating my facility as a spirit medium is simple enough. Behold, a magnificent power to commune with the dead. Oh, Your Eminence! Oh, great spirits of the founder who dwells in the Twilight Realm, heed the secret covenant of the orb, and appear here before us. Oh, here it comes! Nope. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Oh, Spirit of the Founder, grace us with your sacred presence. The time is now. I beseech you, appear before us. Heed my call! Founder, please! Nope. Nope. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. No, wait! I was just warming up! The rite actually starts from now. Look! Holy Mother. Bye-bye! Prosecutor Sadmati, how is Her Eminence? It seems she now believes that she herself is the Holy Mother. I see, but her attempt at spirit channeling failed, did it not? Sadly, she seems unable to accept the facts. I fear it will be quite a challenge to question her later. And what, if I may ask, was her motive? I understand that she killed Minister Inga in order to prevent his coup d'etat, but what of her attempt to assassinate Queen Amara 23 years ago? To become queen herself? Maybe she just craved power and attention. She likely developed a psychological complex from her inability to channel spirits. That is why she kept Queen Amara alive to perform the rite of channeling for her. In that way, it would seem as if she had great spiritual power. In short, she built a cult of personality upon fear and lies. Then again, do not all tyrants? So then, she never really intended to kill Amara, huh? What I don't understand is why Queen Amara even listened to Garan in the first place, especially 14 years ago before Rafa was being held hostage. Why would she keep letting the people of Khurain think she was dead, while she kept quietly performing the rite of channeling for Garan? My mother is a gentle soul by nature, and loves her sister dearly, so when Garan told her to hide because Dirk was out to kill her, she believed it. What's more, she did not wish to tarnish the name of her beloved sister. That is why she acquiesced so obediently to Garan's request to keep channeling for her, until she fled with Dirk and was told the truth, that is. So that's what happened. And since Rafa was being held captive, I imagine Amara had no choice but to help cover up the truth behind Inga's murder. Yeah, living secretly as Rafa's servant Nana, no doubt only deepened her love for her daughter. She'd do anything to keep her safe. All the more reason to hide the painful truth from her. Well, that was the case for the ages. Prosecutor Sadmati has been cleared of all suspicion in the murder of Minister Inga, as has Mr. Dirk Sadmati in the assassination attempt on Queen Amara. Now then, I think it is high time I handed down my verdict on Dirk and Nayuta Sadmati. Not guilty! Ah! The case is over! We're done! Dirk, I hope you're watching. I proved your innocence. Nayuta's smiling again, and that revolution you've always dreamed of is finally happening. With this, may I finally say, this court is adjourned. May 19th, High Court of Crime, accused lobby. Way to go, Apollo! I was on the edge of my seat when those guards stormed the courtroom. That was a shocker, all right. Can't imagine anything like that happening back home. I know, right? I was ready to go on down there and teach them a lesson myself. But really? I was barely able to hold her back. Hold me back? You were about to go ballistic after a while there, Athena. Yeah, well, I was thinking about helping you smack a few of them down, to be honest. Remind me to never say or do anything to deserve a Maya Athena double suplex. You did a fine job out there today, Apollo. Thanks for all the great advice, Mr. Wright. Nah, it was all you. That perseverance and never say die attitude you showed was impressive. I actually learned a thing or two myself. But what? From me? That's a laugh. There were any number of times where I wouldn't have blamed you for giving up. But you stuck it out to the end and came away triumphant. By sheer force of will, and inner strength forged in countless trials, you overcame the most desperate and hopeless situation I've ever seen. I don't know about all that. I mean it. You've really come a long way, Apollo. I have nothing but respect for your abilities as an attorney. Really? Aren't you exaggerating just a little bit, Mr. Wright? You did it, Apollo. You finally won a seal of approval. Well, what about me, Nick? My channeling's come a long way, too. After all, I was deemed worthy enough to be used in 2 major crimes already. Yeah, and 2 major chances for me to become someone for you to channel next. Honestly, I couldn't have done this without the support of each and every person here. Mr. Wright, Athena, Nayuta, and of course, Dirk. That was pretty cool, Polly. Trucy? Trucy! What are you doing here? It's magic! I'm afraid she employed the old let's stow away in Mr. Edgeworth's suitcase trick. What?! Though it certainly explained why my suitcase was so heavy. Tell me you at least noticed it was heavier than usual? Trucy? Do you even have a passport? My magic panties are an extra-dimensional space. It's like a mini-universe in there. I can produce a passport at the drop of my hat. Right. Maybe some things in this world are better left a mystery. Hornhead! Barbed head! I am forever in your debt for what you've accomplished in this Hall of Justice. Without your presence, I may have never changed as I have this day. It's pathetic, I know. That's where you're wrong, Your Aunt Benevolence. It was you who changed yourself. Only you could choose to defy the Garon, and that decision was yours and yours alone. That's right. All we did was present you with an opportunity, and you made use of it with gusto. This victory is yours, Your Benevolence. You should be proud of yourself. I see. So, I am worthy of my title after all. I shall work to heal our kingdom so that it may know peace and prosperity once more. She sure bounced back quick. So, Your Benevolence, I take it you learned the truth of your origins? That you are the daughter of Dirk and Queen Amara? Yes, my mother. Her Eminence told me. She said it was a part of my disciplining. If you could call it that. Sounds more like blackmail. Keep quiet or I'll tell everyone you're the daughter of a criminal. My mother was so insufferable. Or should I say, my former mother. Sounds like there was no love lost there. But you cleared Dirk's name. My true father will no longer be known as a criminal. Therefore I have nothing more to fear. So what's next for the Kingdom of Khura'in? You lost your queen, so... Her Benevolence, Princess Rayfa, will ascend to the throne. Nayuta! Well, she can't channel spirits yet, right? Indeed, which is why I will act as regent on her behalf, until the day she comes into her own. Yes, your help will be greatly appreciated, Prosecutor Sot... Just spit it out! Is she going to say what I think she is? But what are you looking at, you horn-headed nincompoop? Ouch! In any event, I will be assisted by Nayuta and Queen Amara for the time being. Queen Amara? Our country offers consuls and rulers of neighboring kingdoms through channeling. It is a duty I intend to fulfill myself one day. But for now, I will have Queen Amara assist me in that capacity. So then, she's going to be alright? Yes, it seems the bullet went straight through her without doing any serious damage. That's a relief. You did it, AJ! Thanks to you, both Dirk and Nayuta beat the charges against them! And you got the revolution rolling to boot! The revolution? Dirk, I guess you were right to believe in me after all. Yes, sir! There's going to be some major changes around here. The legal system's going to return to its rightful state, like how Dirk always wanted. In the name of Apollo, justice will go down in Kuraini's history. Yeah, right. Oh, Nayuta, before I forget, there was something I wanted to give you before I head back home. You wish to give me something? Yes, as Dirk's birth son, I think you should have this.
Take that!
This is Dirk's. I have to get back to the States, and I know you're a prosecutor and all, but as the man that's going to change crime, it's only right that you have it. To change crime. Yeah, in Dirk's place. Apollo, I'm afraid I must refuse your gift. What? Why? There is something I would like to show you. Huh? What's this all of a sudden? Mr. Wright, won't you and your friends please join us? Oh, sure. May 19th. Former Sadmari law offices. So why'd you bring us here, Nayuta? Apollo, I want you to stay here in Kurain. What? But why? We have lost our queen, and our kingdom stands at a crossroads. Most of all, we will need to rebuild our entire legal system. Naturally, that includes the reintroduction of lawyers to the court. But wait, you're not asking me to... Yes, I want you to take over this law office. With you as a lawyer, and me as a prosecutor, we shall rebuild Kurain's legal system from the ground up. You want me to help you rebuild the legal system? That's a lot to take in. Apollo, I cannot do this without you. As a lawyer, you are Dirk's spiritual heir. And having studied in America, your legal knowledge will be indispensable. This is way out of my league. The revolution is still in its infancy, but it was Dirk's dream to restore the legal system to its rightful state. Will you not help me realize that dream? Come on, AJ, you know it's what Dirk would have wanted. Let's do it together! You must be taken aback by my sudden request, but please give it some thought. Of course, I'm honored that you asked. Still, I have my job back at the Right Anything Agency to consider, too. Don't you worry about that, Apollo. Besides, this is something only you can do. Something only I can do? I mean, to be completely honest, our office would be a bit short on firepower without you around, but hey. Mr. Wright? Actually, I'm sorry, but I can't get on board with this. Athena? I mean, there's still so much I want to learn from you, Apollo. That's right, it won't be the same without you. And everyone back home would really miss you, too. There's no way I can agree to this. Still, if you really wanted to stay... Yeah, Athena's right. It won't be easy, but... Athena, Trucy... Apollo, no one but you can make this decision. Know that I will not question whatever choice you make. Our flight leaves tomorrow morning, Apollo. Think you can make up your mind by then? I'll try. Talk about a difficult decision. Should I go back to the US and continue working at the Right Anything Agency? Or should I stay in Kurai and help Nayuta rebuild the legal system? What's the right thing for me to do? May 20th, 8 a.m., Temple. The bus to the airport will be here any minute. I wonder where Apollo is. Do you think he decided to stay here in Kurain? I bet he was up all night thinking. This is a life-changing decision after all. But whatever he decides, I'll have to accept it. I guess this means no more courtroom battles alongside him. Hey, guys! I know that booming voice anywhere! I made it. Apollo, you're here! Does this mean you're coming home with us? Well, about that. Mr. Wright. Yes, I've made up my mind. Here it is, the moment of truth. I still have so many things to learn from you. But I've decided to stay in Kurain. You're staying? But I feel like I have to pick up where Dirk left off. I can't let his sacrifice go to waste. I see. Plus, I want to teach others everything you've taught me about being a lawyer, Mr. Wright. Apollo! Dirk's roadmap for the future, and your teachings. I believe that these two things will save the people of this kingdom from further unrest. I want to do this. No, I have to do this! Apollo, I've never felt prouder. Proud to have had such an amazing attorney working under me. But someday, I'll return to the U.S. Once the new legal system here is firmly in place, I'll be back. Scout's honor! Will we really see you again, Apollo? You bet! Not that I have any idea how long it'll be, but I promise you this, everyone. I'll keep on learning and growing, and I'll come back to the U.S. an even better lawyer. So don't you forget about me. Of course we won't, Apollo. There will always be a spot waiting for you back at the office. In the meantime, we'll be rooting for you, so knock 'em dead. You got it, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna miss you, Polly. But if this is it, then I'm going to support your choice all the way. Thanks, Trucy. Good luck with your magic act. I know you'll do Troop Gamare proud. I'll be cheering for you too, Apollo. I don't think you're the only one with room to grow. The next time we meet, you probably won't even recognize me. In other words, game on? You bet! And I'm gonna win! I'm going to miss you too, Apollo, but I can't wait to see where your new adventure will take you. Well, there's our bus. I guess this is it, Apollo. I'll never forget everything you've done for me, Mr. Wright. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. Here's to seeing you back in the U.S. again someday. Until then, you know where to find me. The legacy of those who came before us. Is handed down from parent to child. And from mentor to disciple. We must never stall or stagnate, but continue to grow and change. All that we've been taught, the beliefs and convictions that have been passed down to us, we must continue to nurture them so we, in turn, can pass them on to the next generation.
Are you really sure you're okay with him staying, boss?
Uh-huh. I always figured he'd leave the nest someday.
Oh, I think they're almost here.
Just a little. Got it. Huh?
Why don't we go and check it out, AJ?
And with that, we let the credits roll! For Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy has finally come to a close. So, tomorrow, we shall be continuing with our Let's Play of Epic Mickey Rebrushed to finally bring it to a... and bring it further to its final conclusion. So I hope everyone is prepared. Until then, I'll let the credits roll. How is he doing, Mr. Wright? Great. He's a respectable lawyer in his own right. He even has his own practice called Justice Law Office. Thank you. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Oh, before I forget, I made a copy of this photo for you. A photo? Oh! Jove. It is so good to see him again. Don't you think it's about time we told him the truth? After all, they've both grown into fine young people now. Yes, you're right. Perhaps it's about time they knew. Dear Mr. Wright, I can't believe it's already been a few months since I decided to stay. I'm sorry I haven't been good about keeping in touch, but things have been really hectic. Rebuilding a legal system I'm not yet familiar with has been a real challenge, but I will say, it's given me plenty of work to keep me busy. Have you not given the autopsy report even a cursory glance, Mr. Justice? It's just, I have 15 clients on my plate right now, so I probably shouldn't have accepted all 15 at the same time. Oh, please. Are you going to help me rebuild Korai's legal system or not? If you are, we need to move through this case backlog faster. Yeah, I know, but... Besides, those 15 are only the beginning. There are 10 more awaiting your services. Huh? I too have friends and acquaintances seeking legal representation, and being that you are the only lawyer in the country, I told them to contact you. I estimate it will only add about 16 clients to your caseload. Huh? Now wait just 1 minute! I've been handing out advertisements for your new office. They read, from legal advice to investigating extramarital affairs, even yak milking, for a limited time only. These services and more are free down at Justice Law offices. I have already received requests for 380 new clients. I'm going to have to say something, aren't I? I trust you did your Cords of Steel exercises this morning. So go on, there is no need to hold back. Now that you mention it, we have yet to hear you shout today. Yes, and I have grown quite drowsy from these tedious proceedings. I could use a loud something to wake me up. Do not disappoint me, Hornhead. There's really only one thing to say at a time like this. It's a word I've said countless times in my career, but one I'll never tire of.
Objection!
And with that, that brings Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy to a close. And if I sound tired, I am. I am very tired. I love these games, but damn if they don't get long. Anyway, with that, I shall finally bring this Let's Play to a close. I hope everyone enjoyed Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. I enjoyed myself. It was a fun ride getting to play these games again. Now, what does that mean for future Let's Plays here on the channel? Well, of course, I still have to finish Epic Mickey Rebrushed, and somewhere down the line, I'm wanting to do a Let's Play on the Ace Attorney Investigations collection, because those games I've actually never played. So it would be nice to be able to finally wrap up the Ace Attorney series up to this point by getting to play the Miles Edgeworth side of the series. So I hope everyone is prepared for that. I certainly am. And there's a couple of other games that I'm wanting to see if they actually make some headway here on the channel, if people are interested in. Like, for example, Lost Soul Aside, as well as Kazan, the First Berserker. I hope everyone will enjoy those. But until then, I hope everyone will be prepared for Epic Mickey Rebrushed return tomorrow. So thank you all for watching, and as always, your host, TheAmariaShadow, saying along Z, and I'll see you for the next adventure. Goodbye, everyone!